All right, well, I drank all my Tigger juice. Dang it. All right, well, anyway, coming to you guys, usual good stuff like that there. Using the smartphone for better video execution. I actually might process this on the new laptop. I don't know yet. Kind of going around there and, thinking things through and what have you. But anyway, the way, shape, and form as I'm now looking at stuff is Maryland is not a fun state for bangers. Okay, most expressly, it's really not a fun state for AR-15, MSR, black rifle, call what you will, configuration weapon systems. And yes, Tactical Doofus, Reed Sound Guy, actually did take care of the serial numbers that are not legible. But there's a story behind these, okay? There's a reason why I bought two of them, most expressly, was because that right there. Yep. That right there was most expressly why. Okay, essentially what happened is in the state of Maryland, they now have placed major restrictions on any AR-15 configuration firearm. They have to be built in a H-bar configuration, read like a heavy barrel. Specifically, they've said Colt stamped like heavy barrel and whatnot, but then they said, we're going to try to ban heavy barrels.
You dick!
So anyway, rifles are kind of one of those things where they're really kind of screwing with us. In legislation right now, they're going back and forth about whether they're actually going to try for an outright ban AR-15s. I don't think that's going to happen. There's way too many people on the east side of the state that really, truly don't like that kind of crap. And even though the big four areas that do support the Democrats most expressly, I don't think it's going to work out for them. So anyway, what I did was I went and purchased, in the state of Maryland, you can buy a long gun as just a long gun purchase. Now, read like MSRs, AR-15s, M4s, call them what you will, have to be H-bar configuration. Translation, they have to be a heavy barrel firearm. Comprising of that, you also have to do like all this stupid stuff, and it gets really involved, okay? HQL and all, handgun qualification license, all this stupid stuff. Anyway, it is easier sometimes just to buy a rifle, just rather than trying to buy a lower in a rifle. Trying to buy a lower actually is different, because what actually happens is there's a carryover from back in the good old days when you could buy handguns without the HQL in Maryland. You were limited to one gun per month. Now, what they did also is they said, because there's, this background check and whatnot, all this other fun stuff, literally what you do nowadays is you go through the state police by going online, you fill out the application, and
You've got mail.
You get the email when you're not, quote-unquote, not disapproved. You're never approved, but you're, quote-unquote, not disapproved. So, one gun per month, and you're allowed to purchase 2 guns per month. So, literally, this is 2, I'm not playing around here. This is 2 Anderson lowers. They're not consecutive serial numbers by any stretch of the way, and, what have you, but they were that purchase price, and, literally they are that purchase price. And the guy I actually bought these from had a stack of them in one of the display cases, and it's funny, too, because the place is literally called The Gun Store, and it's over here in Essex, Maryland. The gentleman that runs it is, Mr. Bob, and Mr. Bob is a retired Baltimore County police officer. And the guy, you kind of have to know him. He's the kind of, the grouchy old kind of guy. But, once he likes you, quote unquote, if he likes you, he likes you. Once you basically like go to his store and you purchase stuff and you build a rapport, and you're not seen as like the doofus that comes in and basically just, talks a lot of smack and really just makes things harder for everybody. And there's times where, customers have walked in and they're asking about stuff, and I'll throw in the old former sales guy stuff, because I actually did work in a gun store years and years and years ago, and I'm pretty knowledgeable about bangers. And, I'll talk to the customer that's potentially looking at something, and I've actually sealed a few deals for him. So, he doesn't mind when I go off and start talking to customers, because I literally have sold him some items. So that's all good and stuff like that there. So what I did literally was I bought 2 of these Anderson lowers, which means I'm now locked in for the next 60 days. I can make no more purchases of this type of quote unquote receiver. And it literally counts as a receiver, so literally or lower. I forget what the actual phrasing there is, but you're allowed to make purchase of a receiver / lower / unconfiguration of a AR-15 lower receiver. Now, the thing about it is because this is just a receiver, this is not a rifle, this is not a pistol, and it has not been put in final configuration as of yet, and you can go either way. So yes, this can become a rifle or it can become a pistol. But here is the part that screws a lot of people. Here's the part that really screws a lot of people. Once you build this as a pistol, it has to have the shock tube or the brace or, the arm brace, all the rest of that happy horse stuff. It's not an SPR. Okay, you using basically an arm brace or one of those blades or something like that as something that you're shouldering up is quote unquote not using it outside of its intended purpose, which is what it actually was not built to be in the first place from its origination. So you are not doing anything illegal. You can shoulder up pistol pistol configuration AR-15 weapons, no problem at all. Okay, so that said, from its origination, if you build this as a pistol, it must stay as a pistol. That said, if you build this thing with a blade and you put a 16-inch barrel, a 24-inch barrel, a 55-inch barrel, whatever barrel you put on this thing, it still is a pistol when you go to the under 16-inch barrel lengths because it was intended to be a pistol. Now, conversely, if you pick the other one up and you build this one conversely as a rifle from its origination and you put a under 16-inch barrel in there, you are now guilty of breaking the law on federal side because you now have built something, and I'm doing like a ghost image thing here. I'm like ghosting the receiver. Okay, so anyway, the thing about it is if you build this as a rifle and you put it under barrel length, you now have illegally created an SBR or a short barrel rifle, which has to actually go under a Title II accreditation of being a machine gun, a silenced weapon, or a short-barreled weapon. It has to fall under those accreditations. So you now have done something quite very much illegal, and you are not allowed to do such. Now, why did I jump on these things? Well, obviously, you saw the price tag on these things. So literally, I got two of these things for the price, $5.99 for tax, and then the $10 fee for the Maryland State Police to do their paperwork, which is literally them basically just putting it in the system, bing, bang, boom. Okay, not disapproved, here's your stuff. So literally, that's skating underneath the wire in the way Maryland does stuff. I still can build these any flippin' way I wish to because these are now receivers. Now, conversely, I have also decided I wanted something cash and carry, easier, and, very simply put. So they said, okay, anything that's 5.56 is restricted, this, that, and the other thing. Okay, so anything 5.56 is restricted. What did they make everybody do? They made us think bigger. Oh, yes, they did. They made us think bigger. So how much bigger did we go? Well, this one, of course, being an AR-10. So you can look at the receiver lengths. It is literally AR-10. Okay, you could try to hang an AR-15 receiver on this, but I don't think that's going to go so good. I can show you the receivers. I'm not going to be digging that stuff out right now. The uppers I have hanging out and I'm playing with. But essentially, now we have found ourselves to be, in way, shape, and form, we are now requiring ourselves to be building a AR-10. Notice Tactical Doofus did put something over the serial number, so we're good to go there. This one is actually made by Live Free Armory down in Florida, actually West Melbourne, Florida. And you can see it says Live Free with the what is that, a horse? I don't know. But you can see on the magazine, it says Live Free. So good stuff like that there. I don't know if it's really showing up on the camera. It's a little dark in here. Or at least to my viewfinder, it's looking a little dark. But anyway, I got a hold of this upper. Conversely, I got a hold of the lower. It came with a upper. So essentially, I have an AR-10 needing internal components, but I have an AR-10. Conversely, I snapped this thing up on Gunbroker. And the cool thing about it is, because this is an AR-10, not an MSR/5.56/AR-15 M4, any of those other things, this one falls under a different qualification. This one is actually just a simple transfer from manufacturer or from dealer to dealer, FFL dealer to FFL dealer, and literally I hand-shook the information. I got a copy of Mr. Bob's Federal Firearms License. I sent it off to the other guys, and I bought this off a Gunbroker for the total price of what did I get this one for? I got it for $167.33. It would have been $159, but because I used anything other than the preferred cash payment method, it became the 5% difference of $167.33. They charged me $20 to ship it. There was a $50 FFL transfer fee from shop to shop. So total off on this one is $237 for a billet lower and a billet upper as a match set. Yes, there's a little bit of light between them. But truthfully, I've seen way, way worse on other stuff. So total total cash expenditure for this haul of 3 different bangers, total outlay is $353.22. Now, that's really cool. And, if you guys know how to work the system and you know how to basically finagle the rules and regulations and what have yous and all the rest of that fun stuff, you can find yourself to not jump through hoops and you can still get what you want. AR-10s in, Maryland right now, these guys did not think it through exactly the way you should think it through. I think what actually happened was they were looking at things and kind of trying to figure themselves. You know what? I'm going to drop this out real fast here because that screen's probably just a little bit easier on the eyes. Okay, so anyway, way, shape, and form now essentially is in Maryland. Obtaining an AR-10 is much, much easier, but they outthought themselves stupidly because they said, you know what? You guys don't want to have these 5.56 weapons. We want you to have these 7.62 weapons. Guys, you just gave me a gun with 30% more oomph. Okay, you're doofuses. Now, the other thing that's really cool about this one is a standard AR-10 Armalite, not DPMS standard. All those other easy ones. This one can fit the Magpul magazines. All the good ASC. They used to be C products. Steel magazines and aluminum magazines and good stuff like that. There. So it is a standard AR-10 magwell, which is basically just a big version of the AR-15 magwell. Good stuff like that. There. So what else did I actually acquire in my hot little hands? Well, one of my friends knows I'm a knife guy. Conversely, this one, of course, being the Spyderco Worker. This is CO1. So this is the very first Spyderco that they ever actually... You know what? Let me get maybe a easier screen on the eyes here. This one's not exactly good. That one's really worse. That one's really, really worse. You know what? Let's just do something like this. Okay, maybe that's just a little bit better on the eyes. Okay, so CO1. So this is the Spyderco Worker. This is the very, very, very first Spyderco model that they actually sold in the United States. This one, of course, being serrated. Now, also what they did was a couple of models later, they came out with the CO5. So the economy or the standard. Now, usually when you encounter these guys, you could look at them and you could see it's basically a standard. Nothing crazy, stainless steel scale there. The belt loop is usually, excuse me, dropping things. The belt loop is actually stamped out part of the right side of the scale. So conversely, it is a right-handed knife only. Basically, it's going to be blade point down in any configuration that is non-configurable. On this Worker, it is also a blade point down. But it is a blade point down with a removable belt clip. So you got that, 3 little screws there. I've already had this belt clip off and take a look underneath. This thing's actually in really nice shape for its age. This one's actually going to go up in the display box that I currently have in the me room because this is a serrated version. I have a plain edge up there already, so this one's going to get parked right beside it. Good stuff like that there. So CO005, why is this one so cool? And my friend actually knew I was a knife guy, and he sold it to me for $20. What he paid for it at a yard sale. He said this thing was in a box full of Chi-Com crap. He recognized it for what it is. This is a CO5 standard / economy with a serrated blade. Guys, this thing was probably a sprint run. These things, this is unusual, man. I've looked this thing up everywhere, and I have not found it to be what it is. It does have the old script style of Spyderco on board. It does say Seki Japan, so this is the real poop. Now, conversely, this old Worker, which was CO01, also has that really narrow Spyderco script and also says Seki Japan. So that is 9 cons of cool, man. I'm really stoked. I got to send him back something to say, thank you so much. But, I did spiff him $20 and I spiffed him another $5 for ship. But, dude, this is like hen's teeth stuff. This is like really kind of unusual items. The Workers you encounter on eBay, they never go cheap. This actually was a really, really cheap purchase. But, sometimes when you scrounge these things, you really can find some cool stuff. This is going to be kind of a longer update video, I guess, folks. But, man, when you find these things, it's really kind of cool. And also, yes, when you go on Gunbroker and you find stuff like this, because normally lowers are $100. Uppers, well, billet uppers and billet lowers, this is like a couple $100 set already, and I'm happy, okay? So me being in the hole with all the shipping and everything else, I'm way ahead of the game. And of course, 1, 2, Anderson's happy. All right, folks, I'm going to bring up this one. It's going to kind of a good update video to some degree, and hopefully I'm not blowing your doors off with the microphone running on the smartphone on my tripod, like right in front of my face here. But I'm running the external microphone because somebody put, it just sounds better. All right, folks, I'm going to bring up this one. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today, and this has been kind of probably a long video in the making, but I really haven't done many videos because YouTube is just not so much fun anymore, and, well, kind of a mini podcast. Kind of a, well, dude show update. All right, folks, I'm going to bring over this one. Eat good, keep tendering as always, you know it, you love it, and, well, knifey goodness. Always a good time. Catch you guys later, and, well, have a good week. See you guys.